We're Charlie and Leanne, a couple from California who left our cushy suburban life to spend the next several years cruising around the Pacific Ocean on our boat, Juliet. And our little dog, too. In our last episode, we reconnected with longtime friends Alan and Allison aboard Flyaway, and then set sail with them to begin our joint cruising adventure. We dropped anchor in Tenochtitlan, where we were to begin the next leg of our journey. We had a pretty long way to go, so we were up before dawn and got to experience a stunning sunrise before weighing anchor. Our ultimate destination was the remote island of Isla Isabel, a total distance of 231 miles. But we decided to do this without any overnight passages, so we planned stops at La Cruz and Matinchen along the way. All right, we're making our turn north. Flyaway just made their turn. And that should put us in a good position for pulling out our brand spanking new jib. Looking forward to seeing how that thing looks and how it works. Earlier this season, we bought a brand new headsail, but we hadn't had a chance to use it yet. Well, the time was now. With Flyaway accompanying us just off our starboard bow, Charlie got ready to pull it out. Perfection! This jib has several advantages over our previous headsail, which was worn out and out of shape, and was also a bit too big for our boat. The new jib is a 95% versus 135%, so it's easier to handle with less heeling and no loss of performance. Plus, we can leave it up in stronger winds. The old sail had to be reefed at 15 knots, whereas this sail is fine up to 20 knots. And because it's higher off the deck, we have a better view ahead of us. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know if he's going to do that again, and I only caught the very tail end of it. Never before have I seen one this close. Tell Flyaway what happened. See if he does. Whoa. That is amazing. Oh my God. So cool. Yeah, the baby breeching right in front of the mama. We got another breeching whale, and this time it's a big one. That's no baby. Right now it's just flapping its fin. Let's see if it breaches again. That is behavior I haven't seen before. It's still just smacking its fin. Whoa! Oh my God, that's so close. And that is not a baby.
It's turning out to be one of those perfect sailing days. The sea breeze kicked in at 1 o'clock, pretty much on schedule, and now we have about 10 knots of wind. We're sailing through the water at about 6 knots. We've got all 3 sails out, including our new 95% jib, and it's working great. It has good power, it's easy to handle, and like I said, we're doing 6 knots with 10 knots of wind, which is pretty good. It's been a really interesting day. We saw some dolphins in the morning. We saw breeching whales, humpback whale breeching and flapping its tail. We've seen dozens of sea turtles, many of which have birds on back, which is always cool to see, kind of funny. And then over here we've got some frigate birds that are spiraling in a column, the bear, which you don't see too often on the water. We don't know if they're following something in the water or just having fun out there spiraling in some turbulence. But It's turning out to be a great day. We've got another 2.5, 3 hours to get to our destination, which is Intention, and we're going to anchor for the night. And the other thing that's really kind of cool is that the seas are pretty much flat. So this is turning out to be one of those perfect days where it's warm, t-shirt sailing, clear skies, nice wind, and flat seas. Couldn't ask for more.
At this point, we were leaving the big coastal cities. As much as we'd enjoyed the dazzling Mexican Gold Coast, it was time to go. It felt kind of good to escape the busy, tourist-crowded cities and head back to the quiet pleasures of more remote destinations. And now, off to Isla Isabel. We'd skipped it on our previous visits to the area, mainly because the conditions have to be just right. But the weather seemed to be holding out, so we headed west on our 8-hour passage to this rugged island, our last planned stop before we were to commence our multi-day crossing over to the Baja Peninsula.
We left our anchorage in Intention a couple of hours ago. We're headed to Isla Isabel, which is supposed to be a beautiful island off the coast with lots of seabirds. It's like the Galapagos of Mexico, they call it. They have iguana seabirds. It's just supposed to be a beautiful place. So we're hoping we can get there. It's kind of a fair weather anchorage. Unfortunately, we do have pretty fair weather, so I think we got a good chance unless it's crowded. There's not a whole lot of room. But our buddy boat, Flyaway, they did a good deed today. There's a fellow cruiser in Intention Anchorage that lost his dinghy. He thinks it got stolen overnight. And so, and he had a crew member that had to get to the airport. So they launched, just as we were getting ready to leave the anchorage, they called on the radio for any help. And Flyaway went and lowered their dinghy, took them to shore, came back. So we're hoping that that good karma is going to mean that we will get room in the anchorage. We can anchor and spend the night and really get to explore this island. We're motoring right now because the little wind we have is right on the nose, but it's a good opportunity to make water, so we're filling up our water tanks and just enjoying the day.
There are multiple factors that make Isla Isabel difficult to visit. Being volcanic, the sea bottom is rocky and hard to anchor at. It's said more anchors are lost here than anywhere in Mexico. There's very little protection from wind or waves, and, well, really it's more like anchoring in the open sea. Many cruisers consider it a day trip only and won't even attempt to anchor here. Some of our friends have told us that the best place to anchor is this very small area behind a big rock, if you can find a sandy spot, and if there aren't too many other boats already there. And everyone says be sure to use a trip line. So this is our first time setting up a trip line. How do we do it?
Okay, this is the line. We're going to float on one end. The other end I have a little carabiner thing. I'm going to clip this carabiner on the crown of the anchor and then pay it out so that as the anchor goes down the bottom, this will be attached to the front crown of the anchor and this will float to the top. And hopefully we won't have to do anything with it. Hopefully when we come back, when we raise the anchor, it'll all come back together and I can just fish it out of the water with a boat hook. But if the anchor were to get stuck in a rock, we could get a hold of this and pull the anchor up from the front instead of the back. And that would hopefully free it from any rock. So that's the idea of a trip line. It's got the name of our boat on it, and it's got a little anchor, English and Spanish.
We're approaching Isla Isabel. It looks like it could work. The big question is, are we going to be able to find a sandy spot to drop the anchor so our anchor won't get caught up in the rocks? Because we've all been told that this is the place where anchors go to die because it's so rocky. But we have coordinates of a sandy area. Not very big, but hopefully we'll be able to get in there. So this is the moment. If we can't make Isla Isabel for the night, then we're just going to keep on going on the passage across to the Baja. Not only did we have to find a spot, so did Flyaway, which was right behind us. Nerve-wracking! There's a massive mega yacht in the same anchorage that we're going to, but it's outside of the area that we're going to want to anchor. But we do see a couple of other boats in there, and that anchorage only allows maybe there's only room for about 4 or 5 boats. So still hopeful. We'll see what happens. Well, we're here. We dropped anchor. According to everything we see on the charts and on our satellite image, it looks like we dropped anchor in a sandy spot. We won't know until we go to take off, but we got the trip line on there. We're a little close for comfort to a couple of boats, mainly that boat behind us, a Nixie. According to my my distance meter, it looks like it's about 135 feet away. Presumably we're all going to swing in the same direction, so we'll be fine. But anyway, we're here. We made it. Woohoo! Flyaway got themselves a good spot. They're a little closer in. They're a shallower boat with, shallower draft, so they can get in a little closer. Isla Isabel is about 1 square mile in size, and it's a national park and UNESCO World Heritage Site. Often called the Galapagos of Mexico, it's heavily inhabited by birds who have no natural predators here and therefore do not fear us. You can walk among the thousands of nesting frigate birds and blue-footed boobies like any other animal, and doing so was one of the most magnificent experiences I've ever had. But first, we encountered another of Isabel's wild inhabitants, iguanas. This guy seemed to be posing for us. He was Instagram ready. Yeah, no, he does not want to get petted. I don't know if they bite, Allison. I wouldn't be sticking my finger near his mouth. We started our hike up to the ridge, where we've been told many boobies congregate. But first, we had to pass through the frigate bird gauntlet. The tunnel of bird poop. Known as the magnificent frigate bird, they look like something out of the dinosaur age. These master aerialists are also pirates of the sky, stealing food from other birds in midair. Males have a bright red pouch on the throat, which they inflate like a balloon to attract females. Yeah, look with his, I don't know what to call that thing around his neck, all blown up to attract a mate. Well, I think it's kind of late in the season, dude. If you don't have a mate yet, I think you missed out. They just have no fear. And here they are, the boobies. The blue-footed booby has captivated the human imagination for centuries with its mating display, in which its vivid baby blue feet play a key role. 3 babies and 1 mama. The males make a very distinctive whistling sound.
You got audio on that thing?
I do.
Excellent. Get this song.
Let's see the baby underneath. He's a little tiny baby. Look at the little baby. These babies are about ready to leave. Those babies are about to get their driver's licenses and start asking for the car keys. It's nap time. Oh. Mama, don't wake me up! Mama and Daddy and 2 babies. Yeah, well, remember they said that they often only feed 1 of the babies. Food must be plentiful. The blue color of their feet can vary in intensity, and boobies with bluer feet appear to have more success in finding a mate than birds with duller blue feet. So in honor of their mating ritual, I put together something kind of fun. But beyond the boobies, the island itself is just gorgeous, with a rugged coastline and views for days. There are several marked trails to hike, which were a bit hard to find, and also, we found the boobies would nest right in the middle of the trail, and they didn't appreciate our disturbing them either. This one's actually got an egg. And she's right in the path. You tell them. We followed the Blue Trail, which brought us all the way to the top of the island where we could see the small murky lake in the interior. These guys picked a home with a view. It's a little hairy going downhill. Back down on the beach, we saw some naturalists who were catching and tagging the birds. And tagging them.
Measuring wind. That's cool.
We spent 2 wonderful nights at Isla Isabel, and we're so grateful the weather and conditions held out for us. But now it was time to see if our trip line works, and if we were able to get our anchor up off the bottom. We'll save that for the next episode, in which we have our roughest multi-day passage yet on our way back to the Baja. Be sure to come back for that. And of course, don't forget to click like and subscribe. See you next time.